Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the fourth Jets training camp practice is officially in the books, and before we dive into the practice, I just wanted to quickly shout out all the fans that went today. It was the first training camp that was open to fans, and it was cool because the Jets actually had like the Jets official page on their website and YouTube. They were showing like little clips and stuff of the fans, and it was just packed, right? And they actually mentioned that every available practice to the fans is sold out. Absolutely incredible. And that's, by the way, including the joint practices against the Atlanta Falcons, I believe August 19th and the 20th. So it's just absolutely crazy, and the fan base is the best. But when we take a look at the practice, it was all about the wide receivers, right? A big day for the wideouts, starting off with Braxton Berrios returning. Right now, George Fant's still on the PUP list, but Berrios was held out of practice yesterday, and it was I don't want to say concerning or anything like that, but just a little surprising. Like I didn't hear about anything with Braxton getting hurt or anything like that. Supposedly it was a leg injury, but he's back. Okay, so that was great news right off the bat. And then as practice went on, there were multiple guys making plays, starting off with Garrett Wilson, right? He had a couple of really big catches, one from Zach Wilson, one from Joe Flacco. And Garrett, I gotta be honest, Garrett Wilson, probably my favorite draft pick made by the team. I just think he's going to have such a big impact. And of course, you could say that with a lot of guys like Breece Hall and everything like that. Like when we're looking at it from a overall volume or statistical standpoint, maybe even fantasy as well. But I think just having Garrett Wilson on the offense, having a wide receiver that can kind of take some of the pressure off not only the running game and Zach Wilson, but also off of guys like Corey Davis and Elijah Moore. And Braxton Berrios too, for that matter. But, I felt like last season, a lot of times defensive coordinators, defensive-minded head coaches would say, you know what, yeah, Corey Davis is the perimeter threat. They obviously want to establish the run. Elijah Moore, he's a shifty guy, can line up anywhere. If we just make sure both of those guys are taken care of, they're not really going to have a lot of success. But this year, it's the tight ends. It's Garrett Wilson, it's Breece Hall and Michael Carter, and you still have Corey Davis and Elijah Moore there. Okay, so I feel like Garrett Wilson is just going to do so much for this team. And funny enough, I actually did a video on this topic maybe a couple days ago here. Mike Girardi of the NFL Network reported that he spoke to multiple people, including the Jets, and everybody is walking away impressed. Right, with his intelligence, with how he approaches the game. He always has a plan when he lines up at the line of scrimmage. And people were asking the question, why can't he be a Jamar Chase? Why can't he be a Justin Jefferson? Why can't he be a Jalen Waddle? A young first-round wide receiver that instantly starts producing, instantly starts becoming one of the best wide receivers in football in year one. Why can't that be the case? He already has the physical tools. He has the great college career. Everything translates. He fits the system. And now you take the intangibles and you kind of layer that on top of everything. I don't want to, of course, it's football. Anything could happen here. But man, things are trending up. Things are like, if we read the tea leaves here, it does kind of say that Garrett Wilson projects really, really well into 2022. Another interesting note that Girardi made was the fact that somebody directly compared him to CeeDee Lamb, right? When CeeDee first arrived in Dallas, that was a team that had a lot of weapons, all around. It wasn't just the one-man show, much like a Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, where that's kind of the only option his rookie season last year. It was a Cowboys offense that was going to throw the football a lot, and they had a lot of different pass catchers, but yet CeeDee Lamb came in there and made an instant impact and was a huge benefit for that Cowboys offense. Okay, so it's awesome to see that Garrett Wilson has not only just had a solid training camp performance so far, and even a mini camp, like a great mini camp under his belt, but today it really just kind of bursting out and blossoming. Another wide receiver making plays today, newcomer Rashard Davis, the former USFL star. I mean, he was just added to the team, a week ago? It couldn't have been more than a week ago here. I mean, he supposedly caught 2 deep passes, one from Mike White, one from Joe Flacco. And we talked about, the wide receiver room being stacked. Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. I mean, we all know the names here. But to come in your first week, in the first couple of days of practice, this is practice number 4 in front of the fans. So there is that added layer of pressure there. because it's not like Davis is a first round pick. He has the security of being on a 4 to 5 year deal or anything like that. Like, no, he's got to make some plays, right? There's a lot riding on this training camp for him, and to come out and to have 2 great plays, one of which was a touchdown, which was the Joe Flacco pass. That's awesome to me. That's just flat out awesome. Now, speaking of Flacco, supposedly he looked really, really good as well, right? Showing off the arm strength, and that's kind of Flacco's MO. That's what everybody knows him for, and that, of course, in the Super Bowl ring. But for the first time in a while, I feel really good about the backup quarterback spot. You know, rewind to this point last year, it was just a bunch of unknowns. Of course, we didn't know what Mike White looked like in a real professional game. We had some, obviously we had the Western Kentucky college tape. We could go back to his time with Dallas, but we just didn't really know. And obviously it was the first time in the Mike LaFleur system. So it was just a lot of question marks. James Morgan, who unfortunately just didn't make the team. So it was just a lot of inexperience. And then midway through the year, Joe Douglas, as we all know, makes the trade for Joe Flacco. And from that point, I just felt a lot more comfortable knowing that we have a guy that can run the system. He's seen tons of different defenses. He's been in, big games. He's worked his way up, former first round pick, obviously the arm strength, and he has that Super Bowl championship. So he has playoff success. Just having that steady hand almost as a reliever just in case Zach Wilson gets hurt, which of course he did. And we did see Joe Flacco later in the season against the Miami Dolphins, where the Jets did lose the game, but I was impressed with how Flacco looked, how he commanded the offense, how he just distributed the football, and I was impressed. So the point is, it's good to see Joe Flacco having a good day. It's not super surprising or anything like that, but to kind of sum up the backup quarterback position, I think, especially compared to last year, it's just smooth sailing. I feel great about it. If something were to happen to Zach Wilson, and it's Joe Flacco, if it's Mike White, whoever it is, I feel like the Jets' chances of winning aren't just shot, right? It's not game over as we're walking out, to shake hands and do the coin toss. Okay, so good stuff from Joe Flacco. Now, as far as the defense is concerned, Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic reported that John Franklin Myers, Jacob Martin, and Bryce Huff on back-to-back plays would have sacked Zach Wilson. Of course, it's not a full contact padded practice or anything like that. But with that said, man, the pass rush, that's been one of the main takeaways, main storylines from this training camp process, whether it's, Quincy Williams having the multiple sacks yesterday, Quincy Williams, obviously today, Bryce Huff having the 2 sacks on day 1 of training camp, or the first training camp practice, rather. It really seems like the defensive line has been getting after it. Sheldon Rankins has had a sack. Solomon Thomas has had a sack. And of course, this isn't, again, full contact and everything. It's real bullets flying here. But man, I gotta say, it's pretty nice to see all of these guys getting in the backfield. Now, of course, it is a little bit of a double-edged sword here, because Rosenblatt did go on to say that the 3 sacks that came on Wilson in those plays all came off the right side. So we do have to take a look at, the negative, and that goes for every positive play. There's always a negative play. It's the unfortunate truth and scenario when you're going up against yourself in practice. But after those sacks, supposedly Zach Wilson threw a pick 6 to DJ Reed, but then he followed it up with 2 consecutive touchdown passes, one to Tyler Conklin and one to Jeff Smith. And I feel like this is kind of what Jets fans were expecting from Zach Wilson in these practices, right? For him to look good, for him to flash, for him to make plays here and there, and then for him to struggle and have some overthrows, some errant throws, from time to time as well. At the end of the day, he is still a young quarterback learning his way and getting accustomed to all the new faces and everything like that. So, I'm not going to, if he had 4, 5, 6 bad practices in a row where he just can't find the end zone, he can't get the football to his guys, maybe I would, start to kind of think what's going on here, but that's not the case. He's just kind of been up and down, fully expected from my side. So those were some of the main takeaways from today's practice. The wide receivers obviously coming to play. Joe Flacco having a great day. Braxton Berrios being back. A couple sacks right from the defensive line, and then Zach Wilson, of course, continuing to be up and down as these practices roll on. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, go Jets.